almost here. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you. I was going through the grocery store where all the products come to die, where marketing goes to die. I don't know if you got to hear the sound of people pushing their carts or just traffic noise. I got my windows down. Sorry if it's hard to hear. It's almost 100 degrees out right now. And I was just crazy enough to do one of these turtle casts just for you. We have a lot to unfold here, so bear with me. Let's see if I can minimize my windows being down. I don't know. This just goes to show you folks, forward intent. What it's all about. Look at me, so professional. Alright. I'm trying to shut the plastic bag up and throw in some honey on it. I can tell that there's going to be a lot of extra noise, so you're just going to have to deal with it. See if you can decipher the secret code of the turtle. Because if you do, you can make a lot of money. So one thing is for sure is nobody values free. Not even me. Not even my coffee. Like, let's say if I'm getting even if it's a 99-cent coffee, as I'm walking out the door, if I have any, like, oh, maybe my coffee needs more milk or maybe it needs more coffee, I'll just like almost second guess myself sometimes and just keep going back and topping off my cup when they have a self-serve station. The reason why I brought that up is because if you go buy a coffee somewhere else, you just take what they give you and then that's it. So the reason why I say no one values free is because when something's free, people don't value it. And there's a difference between wanting things for free and valuing things for free. Like, everybody wants free shit, right? But you don't value it as much when it's free. If I sold you anything, it was buy one, get one free. Yeah, you'll buy it. You want that. You think it's a good value. But then, like, for your money, but then when you're consuming the product or using the product, you don't value it as much when it's free. I know it's like kind of a contradicting thing to say, is like, you know, well, you're saying that people will buy stuff that has to do with free, but they won't value it. And that's what I mean. Everybody wants free shit, but nobody values free shit. And anybody that's had a free pile in front of their house or is taking something from a free pile in front of somebody's house can argue this one the best they can. So another thing I wanted to bring up too is you got to remember, in this world, you got to always make it about the other person, not about you. Right? Like, what do you want right now? What would you like to eat, right? Would you say pastrami sandwich? Oh. What was that? Oh, apple pie with ice cream? That sounds good too. Oh, peaches and cream? Sure. Well, guess what? That's what you want? Okay. Well, what if I wanted those things? The thing is, let's say if you're going fishing, you can't fish with an apple pie. or a pastrami sandwich, right? I mean, you could try. But the only way you're gonna get any good fish is if you put like a night crawler on there, a grasshopper or something. Fish love that stuff. You'll catch fish that way. If I wanted to respond to anybody that was listening that was saying, oh, I want a pastrami sandwich, I want peaches and cream, I want apple pie, sure. I would take note of that and give you that. There you go. But if I wanted something else, I can't let that get in the way of giving you what you want. You see? That's why you always got to make it about somebody else. Now, talk about somebody that's a full-blown alcoholic that buys 12 packs and 6 packs of beer all the time, right? Every day. As soon as they go to the store, before they even go to the store, all they're doing is they're thinking about themselves, right? And I know people that have alcoholism are going through enough, so well, I'm going to pick on them a little bit. Only in the fact that the people that are buying like cheap alcohol just for themselves, or cheap beer, cheap alcohol, whatever, cheap 12 packs, are oftentimes struggling with, why isn't anybody listening to me? Why isn't anybody buy stuff for me? Why doesn't anybody like me? Why doesn't anybody fill in the blank, right? And you gotta look at it like this. They're kind of fishing with their own wants and needs in their bait. That's why I brought it up. Because if you're somebody that drinks alcohol all the time, people are going to see it in other ways as far as what your true desire is. Like, your desire is just to fill the hole that you have in your heart or void of drinking. And, you know, obviously that's not a good idea and somebody should get help that is going through that. But also, if you desire it, you can get help and you don't need that to run your life. And also, this is how over the past few years I've developed a better mindset for marketing, because I gave up things I had been addicted to or consumed too much of, and realized that that was not only defining and limiting who I was, but it was also centering my desires on fishing with bait that wasn't bait. So now that I can stop just thinking about myself and filling my own voids, I can think about somebody else's and fish with a bait that they are attracted to. And going back to no one values free. You know what? Nobody even values information as much. And I have a prediction about Google, and I have something else to say about information, but I'll talk about information first, because I would often take pictures of a magazine rack in this dicier area where I get gas and occasionally grab a nice coffee. And when I went in there, they didn't, in the past few times, they just had newspapers and they haven't even been filling the magazines. But also, every time I take a picture of the magazines, it's like there's not even one taken, bought. So people aren't buying as much printed media. Obviously, it's been on a downward curve for the past 20 years, maybe even more. But also, like, since everything's gone digital, but also there is a steady, smaller niche of people that are trying to go back to their roots too, with, you know, physical media. We'll save that for another conversation. What I wanted to clarify was the fact that maybe this store was not pulling a profit, or the magazines were just not being bought, so they just stopped buying them, serving them. hey, the shipping could have been late too, but that's one thing. People aren't valuing information as much because they know they can get it for free, right? So your job in this new world of bullshit and too much information is to be able to organize it and package it in a way so people don't get so lost. At least that's my agenda for you. Because even in this world of marketing and business and entrepreneurship and copywriting and all that stuff, and everything else around it that supports or marketing supports, you're going to have to be able to make that kind of your duty. You're going to have to always think about the fact that people are getting a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff free, or they think they are, and they just don't value things that they see all the time as much. So it's a very difficult card to play for one to figure out how to give and how to push back. Like, hey, come along for the ride, but you know, you gotta be this high to get on this ride, you know what I mean? Or you have to pay a little bit to get the bigger picture. Or I could show you all the ways to do this and that, but to fully execute what I'm saying, you're gonna have to step it up a little bit and get into this club or program, or snag a couple of these products and consume them so you can get to the next whatever. Or maybe you need to be educated on something before you can do something else. You know, that's why we go to school, even public school. Public school isn't as much valued, right? Because you get it for free. So when people go to college, they value it more because they have to pay for it. Again, that could be something we could talk about in another Turtlecast. Also, think about this. Do you go on YouTube? Do you have the regular basic YouTube package, which is free? Okay, do you watch videos on it? Are you watching this on it? Are you listening to this on it? I mean, or whatever? Great. Thank you, by the way. Now, what about when you watch something on Netflix? See, now, at any point in time, you get interrupted by YouTube, you can break away from it, or if you get distracted, or something shinier comes along, you'll just be like, as long as that's there, I'll check it out later or something, right? Now, Netflix, or let's say you have Hulu or Amazon Prime, when you watch a show, maybe when you're eating a meal, or maybe it's something you do when you wind down, when you get out of work, or before you go to bed, or whatever it is, or maybe you binge watch a movie or a series. When you have money invested in a subscription-based platform, like a streaming service like that, you're more apt to watch like a whole episode, or stay tuned, or stay on that platform, because you know that you have like a sunk cost, like money invested into it, and you want to get your money's worth. Whereas YouTube, the free platform, maybe you use a free one, you get commercials, right? And you're not going to value it as much because, again, you don't have any money invested in it, so you don't have to worry about getting your money's worth. It doesn't mean you don't value YouTube. I'm sure it's a big part of your life, whether you're a creator or a consumer of it. You value it a lot, but you also know that many of the users and listeners on it, and users and abusers of YouTube, right, are all, and content creators are all on a free platform. So the rules are different, and the rules are different for being the content creator, and the rules are different if you're a listener too, I would suppose. So sorry about like these extra noises. I have like my windows down in my car. I'm trying to throw like articles of clothing that I have in my car on top of things so they don't blow away. But it's like I said, it's in the 90s, so, and I don't have AC in my car, so I'm just trying to do the best I can here with what I got. Alright, papers and stuff, right? Good now, or what? I don't have a whole lot more time to keep going with this stuff, and I'm sure you're probably getting annoyed by all the extra noise, so I'll try to wrap this up. Another thing is too, it's not enough to be just like a winner. I know I've mentioned this before, but here's what I mean. When I was in this dicier, and thinking small is not going to get you far either. We'll say that another time, but what I wanted to say was I was in a dicier area getting gas, getting coffee, and another lesson you can get out of this too is gas prices are also lead magnets. And what I mean by that is to get you in the store. It's the same way McDonald's can afford to give you a 99-cent cheeseburger because they make so much money off French fries and soda that they can do that. Not every fast food chain is modeled exactly like McDonald's, even close. So they probably don't gain as much from having promotions like that, but we'll get into that another time too. There's only so much you can say in like 15-20 minutes. So what I wanted to say was I was in this dicier area. It was in like a city, you know, grab the coffee, grab the gas, and on my way to grab the coffee, I noticed that this person that looks like they probably are into like let's say the harder drugs, looks like, and he's sitting there chatting with somebody who's like not the worst looking person in the world. So you always wonder, like, okay, so they must be like neighbors, know each other, work together or something, right? Good for them. But I couldn't like help but overhear the conversation. And some things I heard in it too. Sorry, I'm trying to find which windows to put down because of noise, but also it's to compensate, but it's also, it's a little bit too hot to just keep everything up. You know, this is the kind of weather you would kick in somebody's window if you saw, I mean, it doesn't even have to be this hot, but you would kick in somebody's window if you saw somebody's dog trapped inside a car, right? Or a child. This is that kind of weather. It's pretty hot. So what I wanted to say was it's not good enough to be a winner, because this guy, you could tell he was trying to be like a winner in a way. He's sitting there talking about, and I don't want to get into like the tattoos and piercings and the mannerisms and all that, where you just know what I mean by that. Like when, like they're either on meth, crack, or dope, right? They just have that look, that posture. Whoa, somebody was, I'm in like a more rural area, and I just see somebody like on a hoverboard, and it's just like, what are we, Back to the Future? Anyways, but this guy's talking about how early he gets up and how he just runs on a track, and something about doing yoga and meditating or something. And, you know, of course he's trying to speak this woman's language, but I also noticed a magic in something too. Like, he was able to talk to this woman because he made it a lot about her. First of all, let her talk, and she had some like stupid little points and things to say, but you could tell that she was just glad somebody let her talk, right? So keep that in mind. But also, what he was talking about, I mean, talk about having a desire. Like, well, this is the kind of person you can tell probably is up at 5 in the morning to get to the methadone clinic in time. You know what I mean? And he's just running laps and talking about how early he gets up, as if he's some kind of like health buff or something, right? But you're you know what I mean? Like, you're hanging out at a gas station, hitting on women, wearing clothes that make you feel like you're a teenager, but you look like this person's probably 10 years younger than me, but looks 10 years older, just because, you know, drugs will do that to you, and alcohol. But anyways, what I wanted to say too is that, you know, you could dance and sing and do yoga and wake up early and run laps and all that. That's great. But even somebody like Gary Halbert was in prison, and he was like, you gotta do road work. So you're not necessarily a better person or some kind of hero just because you can ride a bike, you can run a lap, you can eat healthy, you can do yoga and meditate and all that stuff. By the way, there's nothing wrong with all that stuff, and I encourage all that stuff as well. I'm just saying, we live in a world where people really feel like they need to put that out in the world about themselves, and the motive for it is to just like, hey, look at me, look at me. Now, if I have my Turtle Health Club set up, right, and I'm giving you daily tips on how to like just not be a complete slob and have a healthy mindset, so you can eventually shed some pounds, you can get a routine that's meaningful, easy, fun, and sustainable. So yes, I am teasing T.H.C, Turtles Health Club, but I'm also not just making it about me. In other words, I'm going to build something like that for you, for others, so somebody else that has even more passion can take over it too. Because I know the Turtle Health Club is bigger than it really is, and bigger than I'm trying to make it, actually. It really is. Because we all know that slow and steady wins the race. And what I just said about health too just makes sense. It's like I said, it's got to be something that's sustainable, fun, meaningful, and testable and trackable is good too. So I don't think that you should obsess over numbers, like how many laps, how many minutes it takes you to do something, how many pounds you need to lose or gain, or how many pounds you can lift. And all that is great too. You should set goals for yourself. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but don't obsess over the numbers. Like, you know what I mean? Use the numbers to motivate you. And if they're not motivating you, then you need to have it another meaningful reason to get in the program, stay with the program, and not just make this, because it's designed to be an anti New Year's resolution. Because I am a firm believer that anybody who makes a New Year's resolution, most people, that I would say that like the top 90% of people would probably, they like keep New Year's resolutions where they left them or where they started, and they don't really get, you know, once February comes around, whatever that New Year's resolution is forgotten. So I'm more of somebody that's like, hey, just pick up where you're at right now and just move forward. Don't just think about it, just move forward. Movement is what's going to get you what you want. If you just sit still and meditate and think about it, you're not going to get very far. So that just about sums it up for today's Turtlecast. Again, we went over people don't value free, winning is not enough, and Turtle's Health Club, and you should always, every day, if you can, 6 days a week, exercise for at least 30 minutes, and think about all the different things you can do to build your brand, build yourself during that half hour. And later on, when you take a little nap or meditate, think about what it is that you really want, what your real chief aim is, what your desire is. Thanks again for listening. Peace.